Hey guys, good evening. This is your brother Ryan at you with a new video. And this isn't like Bible related or anything like that, so fear not. I'm not here to preach to you. Just want to tell you about another great book. It's very influential and it just does great things. So, as many of you know, here in America as well as everywhere else, we are going through a global pandemic. And for some people, it's a blessing, if you want to look at it like that. Because if you have a job, some people have a job, some people don't. Some people who do have a job, they weren't busy before, but now that they are, awesome. And then some people that do have a job, they've been impacted quite a bit in a negative way too. So my heart is to share this video with the people who are reaping the bad part of it. Either they're unemployed, they're laid off, those people. And then I'm also trying to reach to the heart of those people who feel like they're lost. They're lost in their career, they're lost in life, they don't know what to do. This is a very cool book that I think that you guys should definitely check out. And if you want me to, I'd be happy to buy it for you. Because I believe in it. I believe in the principles that the book teaches. Because all of them are true. So before I move forward here, I want to show you real quick what the name of the book is. So if you see there real quick, it says The Proximity Principle. And this is by a man by the name of Ken Coleman. And if those of you who don't follow Dave Ramsey, you probably don't know who Dave Ramsey is, probably don't know who Ken Coleman is. Well, just a quick overview. Dave Ramsey is this financial guru that teaches God's way and grandma's way of managing money. And so he created this business called Ramsey Solutions. And through Ramsey Solutions, he has different areas where he has key people talking about subjects that they specialize in. And so this guy named Ken Coleman, he is one of the people that's on Dave's team, and he specializes in career coaching. So he writes this book called The Proximity Principle, where he teaches you in this book that if you want your dream job or the career of your dreams, you had to be within proximity of the people that are doing it. So not only do you have to know 5 people that work in that field, but you had to be in 5 places to help out with that. And rather than spoil it, just want to give you a brief overview of it. It teaches you everything that you need to know in order to find the job that you want to do. Again, this is for the people who don't have a job. This is for the people who have a job but they don't like it. They absolutely hate it. They feel stuck. And then this is a job for dreamers, or the book for dreamers. I'm encouraging you to dream. I'm encouraging you to live a little. I'm encouraging you to do the thing that you've always wanted to do, but for some reason, something's been holding you back. This is not me telling you that you need to quit your $100,000 job that pays you that much money and start your own business. No. This is me simply encouraging you to pursue something on the side to see whether or not it works out for you. And then for some of you who don't have a job, I would encourage you to get something small part-time. I would love to do that myself, but because of my arm, can't really do much, but things are turning around. So again, check out this book, If you need somebody to order it for you, send it to you. Be happy to do that for you. But definitely read it carefully. Take notes as you're reading it. And determine who these people are and where these places are that you need to look at. And it's the proximity principle by a guy named Ken Coleman. This guy knows a lot. I mean, he didn't go to school. He didn't go to school traditionally. He did, however, go to school, an 8-week school for broadcasting, and that's pretty much taught him everything that he needed to know, other than life itself. So I want to share with you a story. So, as many of you know, if you don't already, I have a lot of experience in grocery, and I have a lot of experience in gambling. So I've worked for a number of grocery stores and a number of casinos. So that's where a majority of my experience lies. Professional experience, anyway. And this pandemic has been kind of tough for me, but I'm not going to blame it all on the pandemic. I'm not going to blame it all on me breaking my arm, and I'm not going to blame it all on other people. I'm going to blame it on myself. Because here's the thing about life. Sometimes we make choices in our life that we had to take ownership of. And if we don't take ownership or accountability for our actions, then we're going to continue playing the victim. And that's not what I want for any of you, including myself. I want you to love life. I want you to love life by starting to pursue work that matters for you. And so, I left my job in September of 2020. I could have left it in better terms. I made a mistake and I walked out because I couldn't handle the job anymore. I could not handle the people that I worked for. And excuse my language, my French, my German, whatever you want to call it. But these people were just a pain in my ass. And I say that not because I hate them, but because they literally made working there unenjoyable. See, I figure if you're going to spend 40 hours a week at a job, you had to love or learn to love what you do. And these people were So, during the pandemic, since I was laid off from the casino job, I got another job because I can't stand not working. Like right now, Mom, I'm going absolutely crazy. I can work, but I don't want to risk or re-risk the possibility of injuring my arm more and causing surgery because I don't have the money to pay for that. But I was working on a part-time temporary basis for Walmart. Okay. And then when the casino started bringing people back, I stopped working at Walmart and I worked there up until I made my decision to leave. Mentally, it was probably a really good choice, for me to leave. Because it did a world of good for me. So when I worked at Walmart, I didn't have a problem working. I could outwork any one of those people. It just, I didn't work at the pace that some of these people work at. I wasn't good in comparison to them. My situation was, I didn't go to work. Period. End of story. In a paragraph. Period. That was my issue. I didn't go to work because I bit off more than I could chew. Started taking classes last semester. Started getting heavily involved in church. And in my mind, my faith was way more important than collecting a paycheck. And the second reason, kind of twofold, is I didn't feel like I was a valued employee. Okay, every workplace that I've gone, you have your good employees, and again, excuse my language, you have your shitty employees. Okay? And I'm not saying I'm the best coworker or best colleague or best worker, period. But I will tell you this. If I care, I'm going to give you everything that I got when I'm there. Because I know the importance of work. If you want a paycheck, you have to work. You can't just stand around and expect people to do the work for you. Because it's not right. It's not ethical. So my big issue was just how I was treated. Now, my bosses may say, well, we didn't really treat him any differently. In their mind, they didn't. And I will tell you, I've had some pretty fair bosses there. I had some pretty good bosses. And then other people, not so much. They were horrible, but I feel like they could have been better at what they did. One thing that you'll learn about me is I have high expectations of myself and other people. And that can be a bad thing. So I ended up getting fired from Walmart, and I deserved it. Because again, if you don't show up to work, you deserve to be fired. As well as other reasons. If you steal, you deserve to be fired. If you smoke or drink on the job, you deserve to be fired. So I can openly admit that I deserved it. And reaping those benefits, reaping what I sow. We all do it. We have to. It's a part of learning from life. So, kind of moving forward, I did end up getting a call or like a message from somebody on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is a wonderful site if you're looking for connections as far as your dream job is concerned. I totally check that out if you don't already. No, it wasn't LinkedIn, sorry, it was Indeed. But still, it's a great way to connect with people. Check out LinkedIn, check out Indeed.com. So I replied to the guy, and this was like a foot back into a company that I burned bridges with. But thankfully, they hired me right on the spot, and I've been working for them. And for the time that I have worked for them, I gave them everything I got. Because there's no other way that I could show gratitude other than working my butt off for a company. So I'm very blessed to be with Hy-Vee, but I think because of my past choices inside the company and out, I deserve what I get. And as an adult, as a human, you had to realize that your choices have consequences. So you have to be prepared for them. So, in the midst of everything, I kept trying to apply for a full-time job through Hy-Vee, because I thought if they gave me a second chance at life, I want to be as dedicated as I can be. And I haven't had any luck with that. So, what I've done is I've utilized my connections. So your connections could be friends, they could be family, they could be coworkers that you used to have. Well, these just happen to be people that I used to work with, people I went to school with. First one, Sean. I met this guy when I worked at Prairie Meadows. Super, super, super blessed to have this guy as a friend. And to call him a friend is even more special, even more meaningful. Like, you don't even know. Like, there are friends, people that you call acquaintances, and they're friends. They're like brothers and sisters. These are people that you would die for. I would die for this dude. And I can tell you that. He doesn't know how grateful I am to have him in my life. Super grateful. So this dude has over 20 years of experience working in finance and insurance. And he works full-time for Wells Fargo. So he told me, dude, if you need a job, pays well, trains you well, treats you well, and takes care of you, check Wells Fargo out. And when I look at the list. Best places to work here in Des Moines. Wells Fargo is among the top. People may hate the job, but they take care of you and they treat you well. That's the number one thing I want. I want them to take care of me, treat me well. That's all I ask. If you can do those two things, you have a committed employee. You have my respect, you have my attention. So I did that. It's been a long process, 3+ weeks moving forward, but things are going where they need to be. And then second, my buddy Zach. So Zach, I've known him since I moved to the school district in 1997. So I've known Zach for a good 23 years, and he is a full-time manager for a local grocery store called Fairway. Now, a lot of my experience is in grocery and retail, because in my family, they've either worked for a grocery store or they've worked for companies that service grocery stores. So to say that grocery is in my blood is an understatement. I was basically born in this industry. You know how some people are born to become athletes, some people are born to become superstars like rock stars and whatnot. I think I was born to work in retail. So this dude, he's assistant manager for that store. He's been doing it ever since he was a kid. So the level of commitment and dedication Zach has for his role in the company and for that company period is ridiculous. And I have the utmost respect for people who can be that loyal, be that dedicated. So right there, two people I knew. One person I went to school with and the other person I used to work with. That's part of the people that you know. There's an old saying that it's not what you know, it's who you know. I do know a lot about grocery, but that in itself is not going to land you a job. That might help open a door, but this book teaches you that when you write your resume, you have to think about quite a few things. Like, number one, first and foremost, why do you want to work for that company? Number two, what value can you add to them? Number three, what have you done? Like, where have you been? Like, where have you worked? What have you done? And what have you learned? Those are 4 things that this thing teaches. And if you need help writing your resume, be more than happy to send those templates over there for you because I've already paid for them. So, right there. And then on the left-hand side, at the top of the resume, you have your picture. That way they know who you are. They have a face to a name, or name to a face, whatever you want to say that. And then right below, you tell them how you know a person that works for that company. So again, it's who you know. That helps you. So in my instance, with Fairway, I knew Zach. Then you put his title, assistant manager, and then you say how long you've known him, how you met, and stuff like that. Again, he and I went to school together. We've competed against each other in sports. What else? And that's kind of how we know each other. And then at the very end of this thing on the side, you have them write a 1 to 2 sentence endorsement of why they should work for you. And again, I wouldn't recommend asking just some random Joe Schmo to write something for you if they don't know you. Again, you really want to cultivate good relationships with everybody you come in contact with. But especially you want to cultivate relationships with the people that are in your past. So think about people you went to school with, people you worked with and worked for, and utilize your connections that way. Anyway, I just wanted to share with you how impactful that book was and how it's helped. Because had I not known those people, I wouldn't received an interview. And had I not known those people, received the interview, I probably wouldn't be offered a job. I'm not saying I'm going to get offered a job, but again, it's what you know, it's who you know that opens the door. Now, I'll tell you how the interview goes once I find out. The one with Wells Fargo, I felt like I could have done better in terms of preparing for it, but I also could have answered questions better. And the only way you're ever going to get better at interviewing is if you prepare for it and you do it. Because you think of different ways of how you can answer questions. Do your research first on the company. If there is an interview prep kind of thing that they have on Indeed, Glassdoor, any kind of career website like that, utilize it. And look under the section about interviews. See if you can kind of prefab or pre-create or write down answers to these questions so you can be better prepared for your interview. And then, lastly, if you get the job, just be super humble, super grateful. But don't accept it right away. If you're offered a job, let them know, hey, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate the offer. Can you please give me some time to think about it? I have some other irons in the fire, and I want to weigh out my options. That just keeps things general, keeps them vague, and lets them know that you're serious about this and you want to give it time. But don't take too long. I'd say probably a week or two just to think some things through and just kind of put your thank you letters in conjunction or in whatever. Put them in place. And just from there, you have your decision on what you want to do and where you want to go. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. I'm here for you. Always have been, always will be. Have a wonderful day, and God bless.